This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Looks like President Trump's tariff barrage is probably going to hurt U.S. car sales this year because all the major forecasting firms are lowering their sales projections. Bank of America believes U.S. car sales will drop anywhere from 2.4 to 3.2 million vehicles, which would be a financial disaster for most automakers and suppliers. Cox Automotive is not as pessimistic. It says sales will only fall 2% from last year, but it also thought that sales would be a lot higher this year. Morningstar is a little more pessimistic than Cox Automotive and sees sales dropping by 400,000 vehicles. Global Data sees sales coming in around 14.9 million vehicles this year and 14.5 million next year. Morgan Stanley is in the same ballpark, and telemetry says sales in the U.S. and Canada will drop by 1.8 million units this year. So here's our Autoline insight. The rule of thumb in the industry is that everyone can make money at 16 million units a year. Most would struggle to hit break even at 15 million, and nobody makes money below that. So here's the key thing to watch. Tier 2, 3, and 4 suppliers. They're the canaries in the coal mine, so to speak. If volume drops to 14 million, they're going to start collapsing. Meanwhile, China's new car sales shot up 14.4% in March to 1.9 million passenger vehicles, which is the fastest growth in 10 years. Sales of new energy vehicles shot up 38% to 991,000 units, capturing 51% market share. Even so, the March sales rate would equate to about 22.8 million vehicles for the full year, and the Chinese market has been stuck in the 22 million range for about a decade. Meanwhile, China's car exports dropped 8% in March, and a key reason is that exports to Russia fell by 50%. Why? Because Russia slapped higher tariffs on imported cars, and China is about the only country that's exporting cars to Russia these days. It's hard to separate politics and the auto industry right now, especially with some of the top officials in the Trump administration throwing hand grenades at each other. Yesterday, Peter Navarro dissed Elon Musk and Tesla as not being a true car manufacturer. He called them a car assembler. That, of course, ignores the very high degree of vertical integration at Tesla. So Elon fired back on X that, quote, Navarro is truly a moron and that he is dumber than a sack of bricks. Navarro and Musk are battling each other because Navarro wants high tariffs on everything, while Musk wants to see them negotiated down to zero.
Performance that shines even in the rain. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Potenza tires, improved grip in wet conditions.
U.S. traffic deaths soared during the COVID pandemic because drivers were being less safe with fewer cars on the road. But NHTSA reports that traffic deaths fell last year to the lowest number since 2020. 39,345 people were killed, a drop of 3.8% compared to 2023. And while it's encouraging to see the number of traffic deaths fall, they're still about 3,000 higher than in 2019. Volkswagen's China EV sales in the first quarter fell by 37%, while its overall sales in the country were down by 7.1%. But VW thinks it can turn that around with 3 all-new vehicles, one coming from each of its Chinese joint venture partners. FAW and VW are going to launch an electric sedan. SAIC and VW are coming out with a range-extended or EREV B segment SUV, and JAC and VW will have an all-electric SUV. Volkswagen says it was able to cut design and development time by more than 30% with the models, and production versions are supposed to start launching next year. By 2027, the company expects to have 20 new energy vehicles or NEVs in the Chinese market, which is giving it confidence in its future. VW CEO said, quote, "We have everything it takes to be successful in China." Kia is coming out with an all-electric pickup truck for North America based on a new EV platform that's designed for both city and off-road driving. And that's just one of the things that Kia revealed at this year's Investor Day, so let's dive into more of the details. The automaker will launch 5 new models this year, plus upgrades to others, like offering the Seltos and Telluride with hybrids for the first time. Of the 3.22 million vehicles that Kia is forecasting to sell globally this year, which would be a 4% increase, it expects nearly 500,000 of those to be hybrids. And by the end of the decade, Kia thinks hybrid sales will reach nearly 1 million units. In terms of pure EVs, the EV2, EV3, EV4, and EV5 are all coming to the lineup. Kia expects those models to push its total EV sales to 1.26 million by 2030. But that's actually 340,000 units lower than last year's forecast. However, it believes that EV pickup we already mentioned, the all-new Tasman truck, and its PBVs will help offset a good portion of the lower EV sales. The Tasman and PV5 commercial van launched this year, followed by the PV7 in 2027 and the PV9 in 2029. Kia is forecasting to sell 4.19 million vehicles by the end of the decade, down from last year's projection of 4.3 million. Taiwanese contract manufacturer Foxconn, which is best known for making electronic products like PlayStations and iPhones, is making a big push to build EVs for automakers, especially Japanese companies. Last month, Foxconn formed a partnership to make EVs for Mitsubishi, and the company has also held talks with Nissan and Honda. And earlier today, Foxconn held a conference in Tokyo to tout its EV manufacturing capabilities. According to the company's chief strategy officer, Foxconn will have several Japanese partners within the next year, but he declined to name the companies. He revealed that electric cars and buses made by Foxconn will be on roads in the next few years, including 2 models for the U.S. And he also added that Foxconn is building or retooling facilities in the U.S., Taiwan, and Thailand, and it's looking to expand capacity to India and the Middle East. With Xpeng raising prices of its X9 minivan, we wondered if the price war in China was coming to an end. But it looks like that price hike might have more to do with poor sales. BYD is cutting prices on its Ocean Series lineup, including a version of the Seagull without smart driving technology that starts at about $7,700. That's roughly $1,800 cheaper than the previous starting price, which included the driver assistance features, or what BYD has dubbed God's Eye. We were impressed by the Seagull during a quick test about a year ago, and that was when it didn't have any smart driving tech and cost about $11,500. So we think this new version will help expand sales even more. BMW is showing off the progress it's making with humanoid robots in its South Carolina assembly plant. Started testing them last year with units made by California startup Figure. BMW posted a video showing the robots at the plant placing metal parts into a fixture to be welded, showcasing its parts retrieval and motor skills. As you can see though, the robot is pretty slow. We don't think it can keep up with the pace needed for mass production, or what everybody in the industry calls tack time. Even so, this is just the beginning, and no doubt these robots are going to become faster and more skilled. As you all know, we launched a membership drive on Patreon and YouTube to enlist your support for Autoline, and we're really grateful for all of you who have signed up. With all the turmoil going on in the auto industry right now, we believe Autoline's content and messaging is more important than ever. So we really appreciate everyone that's been able to support us. And that wraps up today's report. Thanks for watching.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. And by
there's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.